Today we're talking about numbers, but not just any numbers, large numbers. Yes, a bit of science won't hurt you.
Arashi, here we go. Lights, camera, action, glow. Arashi, steal the show. Click subscribe, let the good times grow.
Let's start with an example. If you flip a coin 10 times, you might get 8 heads. Flip it 100 times, probably not quite 50-50. But flip it 1,000,000 times and something weird starts to happen. So I wrote a short Python script to simulate all of this. At 10 flips, total chaos, 7 heads and 3 tails. At 100 flips, still very noisy, 56 to 44. But at 100,000 flips or 1,000,000 flips, we're right around 50-50. And this isn't magic, my friends. This is called the law of large numbers, and it governs everything from casinos to insurance companies and even your odds of success in social media. The law of large numbers says, as you repeat a random experiment over and over again, the average result will get closer to the expected value. For a fair coin, if we go back to our example of coin flips, the expected value is 50% of heads and 50% of tails. But of course, if you've got one of these special coins. But randomness is messy, especially with small samples. If you flip a coin 5 times, you might get 5 heads in a row. But as you keep on flipping the coin, things will start to average out and you'll get closer and closer to that 50-50 breakdown. And that's the law in action. And by the way, this video is brought to you by me. I don't have sponsors, but I do have a subscribe button. It's free and you'll help me fight the YouTube algorithm. So please press it. Thank you for your support, and now back to the video. Casinos as well live by the law of large numbers. Sure, one player might win big one night, but across thousands of games and thousands of players, the house will always win because the math is on their side. Repeat after me. The math is on their side. 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 Same with insurance companies. They don't know which house will burn down, but they know on average how many houses will burn down, and they price their premiums accordingly, so they still make a profit. Even creators or salespeople rely on it. You might not land your dream client or upload your hit video on the first try, or even on the 10th, or even on the 100th. But the more you try, the more your actual outcome starts reflecting your true odds. And that can be 1 in 10,000 or even less. But that's the power of the law. Repeat after me. That's the power of the law. That's the power of the law. That's the power of the law. But let's get something straight, because I'm always honest with you. The law of large numbers doesn't say that every sequence will be balanced. In our example of coin flips, it doesn't mean that head and tails will balance nicely over a short sequence. It just means that over time, the average result will settle towards that expected value. But us humans, we're terrible at understanding randomness. That's why the gambler's fallacy is so common and so costly. The gambler's fallacy is the belief that if something happens more frequently than normal over a period of time, it will happen less frequently in the future, as we expect things to even out. For example, you'd be at a roulette table in a casino, and you'd have 8 times the color red in a row, and your brain's gonna scream, well, it's gotta be black now. So you double your bet on black. But the truth is that the odds are exactly the same as before. Each event is independent from the previous one. The ball has no memory. Same with coin flips. Having 10 times tails in a row is highly unlikely, but still possible. But it does not predict the next flip. The odds are still 50-50 because each event is independent from the previous one. And that is what you need to understand. Why you need to understand it, I don't know, but you need to understand it. And it's the same trap that affects stock traders, gamblers of all sorts, or even people playing rock, paper, scissors with their friends. You start seeing patterns where there are no patterns. You're expecting balance instead of understanding probabilities. So remember one thing from this video. The law of large numbers works only in the long run or over a very large sample. That's why it's called large numbers. But over a short sequence or over the short term, this is pure randomness. And indeed, the world can feel random at times. So if you seek more clarity, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment. I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm not a science channel. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.
That's the Hershey Show. Now you know.